So after reading Elevant and LeVay's books, I kind of ran out and was kind of looking to pursue different occult avenues and literature. I started with The Satanic Witch and the bibliography of The Satanic Witch, which is by Anton LaVey, of course, and it's extensive. It's probably 200 books in the bibliography of The Satanic Witch, ranging from all subjects from hypnosis to photography to psychoanalysis to sociology, so forth and so forth. I came across a psychoanalyst by the name of Wilhem Reich. Wilhem Reich was one of Freud's most prominent students, a little radical at the time, but he was pretty much Freud's left-hand man, and Wilhem Reich discovered what he thought was the physical manifestation of the libido. He discovered an energy which he proved in a scientific method to be a real energy, and he termed it Orgone energy. And it related to what Freud had talked about as being libido, as a sexual energy that manifests itself in everyday life, in all animals, all plants, and it can be measured and demonstrated. Anyway, Wilhem Reich realized that this energy, Orgone energy, radiates from all living things, and he was able to demonstrate this in scientific studies and to actually accumulate Orgone energy in what he termed or coined Orgone accumulators, devices that condense Orgone energy and can be demonstrated scientifically by rise in heat temperature and other areas. But I was so fascinated by this that I moved to Seattle when I was about 20, 21, right around there, to undergo Orgone therapy. And Orgone therapy is basically a Reichian therapy, but it's for the most part it's a psychoanalytic therapy, but it goes upon principles that anxiety and fear and hatred become bound in muscular tension, and is manifest physically by what he calls armoring and tensions in the physiological structure of the person, and muscular tension and resistance to the natural flowing Orgone force or Orgone energy that permeates all life. And apparently when people become neurotic and they become ridden with fear and anxiety and guilt and hate and anger, that natural flowing Orgone energy becomes bound within the muscular tension, which he calls armoring. It becomes blocked, so to speak, and muscular tensions in the face. Like basically if someone had an anxiety towards crying or anger, it could be that muscular tension could be found in the jaw and the neck. And if they had tensions about hatred or expressing emotional feelings, it could become bound in the chest. I'm not making a lot of sense right here, but that's basically the principle of it. And it's basically psychoanalysis, but it also deals with the physiological manipulation of the musculature structure to help alleviate those musculature blocks and tensions that bound these angers and emotions. Sorry, it's hot as fuck out here. It's 106 degrees. Alright. The shades are slipping off my face. Alright, yeah, so I underwent this therapy for 2 years, paid out of my pocket. Back then it was $130 a session. I went every week, but they discounted me down to $90 because I didn't have insurance. Nice guy. The doctor was named Daniel Schiff. He's now practices out of somewhere in Oregon, I think Portland, Oregon. Back then he practices out of Seattle, Washington. But you know what, it really changed my life. It gave me a different perspective on things, and the science behind it is real. Yeah, it's pretty much psychoanalysis, but with the physical manipulation of musculature tension along with the psychoanalytic technique and therapy, there's something to it, man. I mean, the physical manipulation of therapy of certain musculature things like breathing techniques, manipulating musculature parts of the body, along with psychoanalytic techniques, actually brought up memories and feelings that I was completely unaware of, that I had completely suppressed. I mean, there's a real science to it. It's really real. It really is true. I've been through it. I did it. By pressing on certain parts of the body, talking about certain things, would bring up certain memories and certain emotions that were suppressed for a long time, were uncontrollable. I mean, it would bring about fits of rage, of sadness. I mean, it's a real thing. I encourage everybody to look into it. Wilhem Reich, his best book is probably Character Analysis. It's way too long of a video. Alright, that's enough of that.